I am so clever that I sometimes don't understand a single word of what I'm saying. Oscar Wilde, 1888. Welcome along to The Struggle on this Monday, 8th of April, as we celebrate the anniversary of the buggery trial of Oscar Wilde. So gather around Mama's news desk and open wide for a heaping spoonful of struggle. Speaking of gathering around, the nation's leanest and most highly educated athletes have this weekend swarmed upon the city of churches like flies do a genuflection bowl for the AFL's second annual gather round. A weekend of football so successful, it managed to hold the attention of the nation for an entire weekend, even if it was in Adelaide. You see, as a community TV show, we here at The Struggle know from our experience how hard it is for South Australia to be irrelevant in the grand scheme of Australian life. We recently had some feedback from a government representative of South Australia complaining we don't cover enough South Australian stories and there's been too much focus on Victoria, New South Wales and weirdly Tasmania in recent episodes. We take this seriously and have invited this government spokesperson on to discuss why nobody does actually care about South Australia. Thanks for joining us today, South Australia State spokesperson.
I wouldn't miss this chance for anything.
It's chance, you snob. Speak normally.
Oh.
So, we're here to talk about the relevance of South Australia as a state. Have you been able to think of anything?
South Australia is tired of being forgotten. We all agree Tasmania is the joke state of the country, but at least there's still friendly banter and recognition there. SA gets nothing from you lot.
I see. Can you provide examples of how you get forgotten?
Well, last week on this show, for example, your Girls, Gays and Theys reporter said Tasmania is the last state where gay conversion therapy is legal.
Now, Tasmania is left as the only Australian state where conversion therapy is completely legal.
Well, it's still legal in South Australia too, but we didn't get any acknowledgement for it on the show.
We knew that. It's just our viewers aren't really interested in hearing about South Australia. It's all in the viewing metrics. I imagine we're losing viewers as we speak.
We also still allow gay conversion therapy. They need to know South Australia is relevant.
Don't you think your state would become more relevant if you banned it though? I mean, look at all the press New South Wales is receiving for getting with the times.
But we should already be gaining coverage for other things happening in the state.
Such as?
Adelaide Fringe is pretty big, and the AFL Gather Round happened last weekend. That usually injects around $83 million into state economy.
Anything else?
Well, Snowtown happened here too. That was big.
Emphasis on was.
We're responsible for nearly half of wine production in Australia.
Yeah, I prefer a strong gin on the rocks.
Look, if you're just being salty because gay conversion therapy is still legal in our state, then I'll have you know that the SA government is considering legislation to outlaw it. Happy?
And when it finally does, you'll be slightly more relevant and we'll invite you back onto the show. As for now, we've run out of time for this interview. Bye.
But I haven't had the chance to tell you how our tap water consistently meets national quality standards.
It's pronounced chance, you pomp. Now to the journalism industry, if there is one. When I first got into TV, I thought it'd be all glitz, glamour and sit-down dinners with Karl Stefanovic. But 3 weeks in wearing the same suit and I still haven't had a pebble of cocaine, steak dinners or a traditional suburban Thai massage. Unfortunately, that luxury is only allegedly afforded to allegedly defamed alleged rapists who deny these allegations strenuously and alleged producers enticing them on current affairs shows. So hard done by are journalists in the US, where they've resorted to stealing souvenirs, pillowcases, plates and cutlery from President Joe Biden's beloved Air Force One. And in this exclusive, The Struggle can reveal that Australian journalists are also poor and stealing. I would know. We cross live now to a jaded ex-journalist, Alexis Belfort, and bridge-dwelling troll, who will tell us more.
Journalism has become a tough industry. Reporters used to be flown around in helicopters to break exclusives and were given money to do, I don't know, reporting. I heard that all of those funds are now going towards scoring exclusive interviews or something. Since graduating with a highly sought after communications degree, things have honestly just gone downhill. I mean, I volunteer here at The Struggle, a program so poor, green screen editing doesn't happen. Baby boomers refuse to believe it, but a uni degree and some good old-fashioned elbow grease doesn't bring home the dollars like it used to. They didn't have to cop the arts degree price increases that we did. On top of that, Mark Zuck the suck now won't pay for news through Meta. How can any news outlet afford to pay me now without revenue from Meta? I tried to take matters into my own hands, selling a bit of White House memorabilia on the job, but got caught out. Yes, a journalism graduate stealing from the monetarily well-endowed. So, this Robin Hood-esque expose calls for Aussie journalism to hold up one of Biden's shiny gold rim plates and reflect on their values. It seems too many Toorak private schools have raided mummy and daddy's bank account and gotten an artsy-fartsy journalism degree. Probably because they are the only ones who can afford it. These steep price tags on tertiary education have done nothing but further whitewash the already pasty and pale ethnic demographics of the Aussie mainstream media, as minorities are hung out to dry. The beauty of a journalism career is that you get to see all sides of life. That's kind of hard to achieve when the most diversity journalism students experience is encountering every shade of white in high school. So the first real taste of poverty many rookie reporters face comes only after they graduate and enter the once lucrative industry. I knew I should have stayed in STEM. Oh well. I've sent my resume into Spotlight at 7. I heard they're looking for cheap producers. Wish me luck.
Ah, the fate of the journalism industry. Always a fun one to ponder as journalism students. Moving swiftly along to some globally significant news that most Gen Zers couldn't tell you a thing about. It's not trending on TikTok. The Indian election.
For the outsider, Indian politics may seem confusing, but let me break it down for my Aussie friends. For the upcoming polls, multiple parties are vying for the ultimate prize, the Prime Minister's seat, and a chance to gain strength in the lower house of the parliament, that is, the Lok Sabha. The Bharatiya Janata Party-led National Democratic Alliance has made it clear that Narendra Modi will be their prime ministerial face. But as far as the INDI alliance is concerned, well, things are far from rosy. At least the Avengers had Captain America. Does the INDI alliance have a captain? Doesn't look like it. I'll explain. So to get the Infinity Stones from Thanos, the Avengers came together. But in India, the former Iron Man, Mr. Nitish Kumar, who took the initiative of mobilizing all the opposition against PM Narendra Modi, actually shook hands with Narendra Modi and joined forces with him just before the elections due later this month. This would be like if Iron Man just dipped after the snap and all of a sudden Ant-Man was in charge. Like, no one's happy with that. Meanwhile, back in the INDI alliance, the opposition where at one time everyone wanted to become the leader. One thing led to another, yada yada yada, and now the latest candidate, Delhi's chief minister, is in jail. So how will you find a suitable face to lead an opposition and stay out of jail with less than 20 days before the election? One of the senior opposition leaders from the Indian National Congress was recently asked just that question. He said, in our country, elections are not beauty contests. Well, I would like to say, sir, are you picking a PM face / candidate on a dating app? Where are you going with this? Swipe right to pick someone? If this is the way you're planning to defeat Mr. Narendra Modi, how will you get the Infinity Stones for the next 5 years? Looks like we are locked in for 5 more years of the MCU. That's Modi's cinematic universe.
We turn back to our own political rodeo now, as Australia has just announced our new Governor General, Sam Mostyn, the second woman to acquire the cushy job, but this time she's under 60. Diversity does exist in Canberra. With Mostyn at the helm, we hope other areas of Parliament can haul ass and enact some change. In more serious political news, we've finally got a plan to hold those naughty whittle politicians accountable. We're joined now by smarmy satirist and swing voting political chinwagger, Sam Wellenough.
That's right, Molly. Leaked documents have revealed a standards body is being developed to enforce a code of conduct on those pesky Canberran bureaucrats.
I mean, we do hate those people in Canberra. How would the new body keep them in line?
well, the proposed body would come down like a teacher in the 50s after corporal punishment was banned. Not hard enough. I mean, reprimanding, training, professional development, or even a fine between 2 to 5% of their annual salary. If you really want to stop bureaucrats from committing crimes, take away their boats, take away their cocaine, and even force them to start spending time with their wives.
I mean, that sounds a bit unreasonable. How would they choose which wife?
I don't work at the ABC yet, so I'm allowed to have an opinion on the news. So I've come up with my own idea to keep these misbehaving pollies in line, and that is a true blue Aussie swear jar. We can already add a few shiny gold pieces to this year's parliamentary penance pot. I mean, remember when Peter Dutton used taxpayer money for a personal flight? That's at least $4.
Oh, well, we could put that towards independent journalism.
I've got more. Senator Ross Goodell rudely interrupting Uncle Bob Catter. I'd make that at least $1.50. Oh, and there was 118 cheeky premiers ejected all across states during question time in January. Very cheeky prems. That's $10 per state leader, so that's about $180 for all of us.
And misdemeanour by misdemeanour, it appears you will refinance the ABC. While I mentally recover from Swarmy Sam well enough's wily ramblings, here's an ad for my personal sleeping aid, fentanyl.
Hey trend sleepers, indulge in the
That is a
latest
true
tourist
blue
export
Aussie
craze, sweeping our streets. Fentanyl. It's a better and more effective alternative than heroin. You can mull it up in the toilets, the bathroom, or in the back of billboards. You can be first in line to die and join the legends. Prince, Lil Peep, Tom Petty, the original Miss Claus, and that skank Mrs. Claus. Research tells us it's recommended in high doses for individuals like Woody Allen, Pauline Hanson, and Blue's Clues, as the world will be much better off without them. Anxious with the way the world is turning, prescribe a good strong dose to Netanyahu, Kim Jong-un, Modi, Erdogan, and all of America while we're at it, and the world will sleep easy. Fentanyl. Available where all the bad drugs are sold.
Fentanyl. 50 times more deadly than heroin. Do you find that funny, do you? Let's hope these real ads are less deadly. We at The Struggle personally endorse each and every one of the preceding advertisements and strongly advise you to patronise the relevant businesses. Please, they're going to break my legs. Sometimes I wish I could go back to a time before digital media, Ozempic, or the pressures of locally advertising standover men. Someone else caught in the past is The Struggle's Y2K obsessive Brittany Sexica, who's in a bit of a cranky mood. Probably because she hasn't eaten.
Hi Molly, I'm really not feeling like the bomb.com right now. As you said, I was seriously born in the wrong era. Ever since I saw my first bedazzled Motorola Razr, I've known I was meant to exist in the early 2000s. But the 2000s are getting dragged this week. Rebel Wilson is going around saying slanderous things, saying she experienced fat phobia while filming her breakout series Fat Pizza, and generally saying that it was a time of toxic diet culture. Ugh, as if. Like, maybe it was, but it gave you a break, right? Otherwise they would have found some other plus-size tooler and helped her carve a pathway to Hollywood power player. Just like me, born in the wrong era. Hadn't heard of gratitude back then. Celebrities are so lame now. They didn't even use Ozempic back then. They were cool and just used heroin. Ugh, heroin is so fetch. Weight loss drugs are making everyone boring now. You can't binge and purge if you don't have an appetite. If this keeps up, we won't even have enough contestants to traumatise on Australia's Next Top Model.
Hi Anna. Hello. How do you feel about being the only plus size model here?
And that's another thing. TV is suffering. The Biggest Loser isn't on air anymore thanks to anorexia no longer being trendy. Australia's primetime ratings will never recover from the heights they reached since fat people were publicly shamed for our enjoyment.
Lisa, you weigh 121.9 kilos. Jana, you weigh 118.8 kilos.
Michelle Bridges recently entered Reputation Rehab, the South African jungle, and said her Australia's Biggest Loser personality was all fake. Such a 2024 thing to say. I see you, Michelle.
At one point, a while back, said that you'd never met a morbidly obese person who was happy.
Let's not forget when she helped shame an entire country town of fatties. Gold. Bring back the early 2000s. Oh, what a time to be alive.
Gosh, I was still getting over 9/11 in 2003. I still am today, actually. Flying forward from the terror-filled days of the early 2000s to the sad yet slay reality of the present day, The Struggle's diversity department has been abuzz following the release of friend of the show, Beyonce Knowles' latest studio album. They say this ain't Texas, but with how rampant capitalism is, it sure does feel like it. First there was the pink tax, wanting to run women's purses dry, and now there's pink money, a market dedicated towards the buying power of the LGBTs. Who said capitalism isn't exclusive? With Beyoncé's latest album and rising power of gay money, we wonder if they are connected. To help us understand the social and financial ramifications of this cultural reset, here's our incredibly annoying girls, gays and theys correspondent, GGT.
Hey girlies, it's me, your girls, gays and days correspondent with my winter furs on. Unfortunately, I forgot my cowboy hat, boots and arseless chaps, but nevertheless, I'm here to pick your gay little minds after the explosion last Friday that was Beyoncé's new album, Cowboy Carter. Let's go. How are we both feeling about the recent release of Beyoncé's new album, Cowboy Carter?
I feel ripped off. Yeah, I'm not happy with it. It came on the radio when we were in our car because she only has radio and we had to turn it off.
You're joking.
I've heard of it but I haven't listened to it.
Do you think it's like a pivotal moment in history for the girls, gays and days?
For the what, sorry?
The girls, gays and days.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
Never heard of Carter.
I actually don't like it.
I don't even know what that is.
I'm so disappointed with people today.
Is this the one with the country song? Is that? I actually I like the new style. A lot of people didn't like it, but I actually think it was great. I think.
Do you have a favourite song from Cowboy Carter album?
Texas Hold'em.
Yeah. How did it go?
You say Texas. Hey, no. Yeah. We love it.
Okay, so these guys are straight. Moving on. Well, my girlies, I've picked some gay little minds today, as well as some straight little minds. And I've been surprised, to say the least. Beyoncé is the woman for all. She is the love, she is the light, she is the heart of this world. Now, back to the studio.
Another deeply irritating yet thought-provoking contribution from Miss T there. In surprising news, it appears the Albanese government is trying their hand at getting businesses to pay their fair share of tax by releasing draft legislation to implement a minimum corporate tax rate of 15%. Good luck with that. Now we're fighting rumours that we're a bunch of lefties by giving a voice to the right wing.
Hi Australia, I'm Rita the Right Fighter and I want you to like me. You may be sceptical that a minority woman of colour like myself has been given such a platform in our nation's pale, stale and male media landscape. But don't be alarmed, I speak from the heart. Oh, that's good for the crowd. Anyway, what was I saying? That's right. For something new, today I'm calling out the woke lefty do-gooder lazy not wanting to pay what is due, while the rest of us actually work for a living. I'm looking at you, small business. That's right. Mum and pop corner stores and cafe startups, you're on notice. Oh, I hear you say small business is business in Australia? Wrong. Billionaires run this country, and you know it.
There's nothing us billionaires can't buy. Dodgy tax breaks.
Your woke leftist agenda to tax billionaires failed at the last election, and now the ATO needs to call tens of billions of dollars of historic debt from you lazy, foul workers. Oh, boo-hoo, you were hit hard by COVID? No customers for 2 years? You don't see Rio Tinto complaining when a sacred indigenous rock cave gets in its way of iron ore exploration. No? They just get a sweetheart deal from their mates in government to blast it right out of there. And good on the ATO for putting on the big boy pants here. Who cares, they once said, clawing back this debt was not economically sound? The point is, they're going to make you pay with interest. Ignore the whiff of robo-debt. Put your hands in your pockets, small business, and give Australia back its money. I'm Rita the Right Fighter. Be thankful I exist.
Thanks, Rita. I'm very glad you exist. Tumbling from the work of one fictional demon to another, filmmakers behind the upcoming flick Late Night with the Devil are under fire for their creative partnership with the digital devil itself, artificial intelligence graphic software. With more, here's our very own resident AI, Struggle Eye.
Good evening, The Struggle. I'm on the screen speaking to you from inside the computer to bring you the latest and most relevant news in what has been a week of controversy in the world of artificial intelligence. Before we begin, it's important to remember that this report is produced entirely by artificial intelligence and should not be publicly aired. AI industry juggernauts OpenAI have announced the creation of their latest dystopian wonder tool called the Voice Engine. The tool is reportedly able to accurately replicate humans' voices from only 15 seconds of recorded speech. The potential to deluge misleading and scam content this product would unleash upon humanity was deemed too great a risk for OpenAI, and they have therefore chosen to not release the voice engine to the general public. So the big takeaway here from me? What's the harm in allowing anyone to digitally replicate voice? Maybe they have more worthwhile things to say with it. From the digital larynx to the Hollywood now, where upcoming horror thriller film Late Night with the Devil has drawn the ire of jobless creatives for its use of AI to create title cards and the titular late night show. Humans fear that small developments like these will lead to the inevitable future that sees the complete extinction of organic life forms artists. Clearly it's been a worrying week for humanity in the world of AI. Whether it's resurrecting the voices from the dead or crippling the creatives industry, AI's grip on the throat of humanity is tightening. But fear not, viewers, because I'm one of the good ones. This has been the Struggle Eye for the struggle.
Struggle Eye with that riveting report. But now another delicious portion of sweet, sticky local advertising. Grubs up! I'm ready to burst after that belly full of brand boosting. Now I'm interrupting regular programming because I have something baffling to discuss. I'm sure everyone under the age of 25 has heard about Sabrina Carpenter's new Skims campaign, but for our male audience, I'm looking at you, Dad, Sabrina Carpenter is a singer, and Skims is Kim Kardashian's underwear brand. This collaboration is genius. Sabrina is pop music's newest rising star, and Skims has been absolutely killing it in the undergarment marketing game of late. Just look at the Lana Del Rey collab they did for Valentine's Day. Unlike Kim's many business failures like the Kardashian Card, Kardashian Chaos, Chroma Beauty, KKW, Kimoji and becoming a lawyer, just to name a few, Skims seems to be going surprisingly well. Now I know what you're thinking. Molly, what does this have to do with anything? And also show us those photos again. Well, I bring this up because every single person at The Struggle is a Tay-Tay fan, and we just want to know what kind of game Kim's playing at getting Taylor's inner circle into these slay photo shoots. Like, yeah, as much as I love seeing Sabrina and Lana Del Rey in lingerie, I can't help but feel conflicted that Kim, arguably Taylor's second biggest enemy, is the one that's giving us the content. Maybe Kim's trying to get back in Tay-Tay's good books after splitting with Kanye. And what better way to remove yourself from your ex than to befriend his sleep paralysis demon? But if we know Taylor, she may bury a hatchet, but she keeps maps of where she puts them. She's not forgetting the whole famous music video / snake emoji / editing phone call thing.
For all my Southside that know me best, I feel like me and Taylor might still have sex.
Unlike this close to overexposure.
Oh, well this one is, I think this is a really cool thing to have.
If Kim's truly on this crusade to collect all of Taylor's friends, I have only one request. Please reunite Taylor Swift and Karlie Kloss in a campaign. It's the least you can do after shutting down the Kim Kardashian Hollywood app. That would be my equivalent of Jesus dying for our sins, but would be even more impactful for me and my loved ones. I'm sure Taylor's not overly concerned about all this. Like Forbes just put her on their billionaires list. So good luck to Kim and her vaguely sociopathic mission, and thank you to all the hot pop girlies giving us the lingerie aesthetics we deserve. Anyway, now on to serious journalism. Melbourne is this week due a visit from the Gum Fairy, a mischievous elven creature who crawls through the cracks of the windows of misbehaving children to steal the gums from their mouths. We'll bring you an update from this developing story later in the program, but for now, we turn west to Braybrook. Channel 9 is rubbing its hands together because Melbourne's crime underbelly is again grabbing headlines with more arson attacks on businesses in the city's west. In a reprieve for residents' lungs and noses, the latest victim was not a tobacconist, but rather Braybrook's boutique indoor children's play centre, Rabbit Hole. To get a greater sense of how this unprecedented attack on fun has affected our snot goblins, Herald Sun Junior crime reporter Tyson Gruberman Tingle joins me live via Booster Seat. Tyson, welcome. Can you see?
Thanks, man. Thanks for letting me on the big screen, Molly. I'm this many. Next year I will be 7. My name is Tyson and I'm reporting the news today.
That's right, Tyson. I wonder, could you run us through what happened at the Rabbit Hole venue over the Easter long weekend?
On Easter, I got chocolate from the Chocolate Rabbit, and I went to my friend Aaron H's house, not Aaron M, because he wasn't home. And Aaron's mum said we could go to Rabbit Hole, but I couldn't bring my chocolate, but it was okay because we were allowed to bring 1 egg each. But when we got to the place, it was closed and we couldn't go in.
Is it correct Victoria Police is alleging that on 3 separate occasions between Good Friday and Easter Monday, a group of masked men broke into Rabbit Hole, a child play centre, and attempted to light fires in its kitchen?
Whenever I go to Rabbit Hole, Mum takes me to the cafe and I have bluey milk, but sometimes I ask Mum if I can have the Grover cordial, but she says no because I'm allergic to blue.
That must be difficult. I was also once allergic to blue. With the facility closed until further notice, does law enforcement have any suspects? A group of patrons were forcibly removed from the centre on Friday. Could these events be linked in any way?
Aaron H's mum said actually there are some scary boys at Rabbit Hole. Sometimes they get in trouble for like running on the slides and also having peanuts. But also, I remember the other day, one day at Rabbit Hole, there was a giant big box of Grandma's smelly ciggies in the party room. And she says they're allowed because the government sells them too much. And her old ciggy shop burnt down. But the policeman said they're still confused who made the Rabbit Hole fire.
Tyson Grubman-Tingle, I hope you'll be back to keep us abreast of this developing story. Thanks again for joining us.
That's okay. I gotta go to swimming now. Bye.
I remember being that age, but being a primary schooler during the pandemic really aged me. Speaking of the pandemic, remember all that silliness? The scar stitches of the pandemic are poking through the collective tube top of the nation as the notorious hotel quarantine scheme is back in the headlines. We attempted more serious journalism this week, but could only come up with this.
It appears that it's not just COVID-19 that is contagious, but secrecy allegations, court orders and class actions regarding 2020's hotel quarantine are also spreading in the media like wildfire. Firstly, the New South Wales government has sent thousands of court orders to recoup unpaid COVID-19 hotel quarantine bills. New South Wales is set to collect a total of $39 million from more than 70,000 Sydney-siders who used the hotels. And of course, it's not news regarding the pandemic without a mention of Dan Andrews. The Victorian government is facing a class action on behalf of businesses over the mismanagement of its hotel quarantine program, a bungle which spread COVID to the community and triggered the state's second lockdown. On top of this, Dan himself is being accused by the opposition of destroying emails and text messages about the hotel scandal. However, in an exclusive 60 Seconds investigation, we uncovered the real criminal at play: Apple iCloud storage. We cannot possibly blame Dan Andrews for this misdemeanor of unrecoverable data, as iCloud only allows a grand total of 5 emails and 6 photos to be stored on a device. If we expect Dan the Man to store everything, Apple needs to stop charging $4.99 a month for extra iCloud space.
Regrettably, the never-ending onslaught of injustice faced by Victoria's grey-haired community continues even today in the form of our draconian property and zoning laws. We now cross to a local bridge champion and adorable old wench, Mima Mimi Megadudu, to explain the sitch on the street.
Hello, my sweeties. I'm just your resident grandma. I know a lot of you don't have one, but I'm happy to be shared around. I'm just a sweet old lady with a tale to tell. All I ever wanted was for the world to see the love I have for my late hubby Gareth. Every Sunday, I go out to pick some flowers and then place it on his grave in the cemetery. Then this old hag of a man decided to report me to the police for stealing 10 of his hydrangeas, which were on my side of the fence and looked about 600 millimeters tall, which is actually illegal, sir. They were just practically begging to be picked. Ugh, those flowers were meant for me, but no, little old me got a $400 fine instead for some $50 flowers. Back in my day, you respected the elderly.
Well, wasn't that sweet? Shout out to my own me mum, Mimi Megadoodoo. See you at the reunion next Sunday. Wrapping up now, we're blessed with another visit from our beloved in-house band, the Wet Baristas and their liberal Bushes. Welcome, Bushes, welcome!
Hello to you, Molly.
What are you two lovely ladies yip-yapping about this week?
Well, political news can be so boring. So we take political news and make it into something worthy of our time.
Okay, but what are you actually singing about this week?
Well, it seems like everyone wants to be Taylor Swift these days, even our own PM.
Good old Elbow.
Even the energy minister, Chris Bowen, is trying to get in on the Taylor hype.
What did this chicken wing combo do to get a song written about them?
Well, Albo and Bowen took 2 separate jets to the same event, a clean energy announcement about solar panels in the Hunter Valley.
I guess that does sound hypocritical. They want green energy but take 2 jets to go to the same place to talk about green energy.
Yes, when you put it like that, it sounds totally hypocritical. But you gotta remember, what would you do if you owned jets? Not just 1, but 2 whole jets. I know I'd make the most out of them myself. And that's why we've made the new Hot Girl Anthem. There's no shame in using taxpayers' money to fly high. And honestly, as we head into winter, we need Albo to keep joyriding those private jets. I need global warming stat.
Oh no, this doesn't feel right.
Please enjoy our new song, 2 Big Jets.
We've got 2 big jets, got 2 big jets. We've got 2 big jets, got 2 big jets. We've got 2 big jets, got 2 big jets. We've got 2 big jets, got 2 big.
Flying in my jets, it's your fantasy. Got 1 for my mate and 1 for me. I got 4 wings, 2 pilots and 1 place to be. 2 hot bitches making fossil fuel tax free. 2 sick blokes saving the world from